Hi everybody, welcome back to this second tutorial. The topic today would be formulas in Excel. Hi everybody, welcome back. Now I will not be able to tell you every formulas in Excel, but the main important one and the one I find very important, I'm going to tell you. There are many formulas. If you go to the formulas part of this Excel, there are many formulas. So today we'll be looking at few of them. Let's look at 18 of them of the formulas today. All right, let's start. So firstly, for this I want to open a new tab for this. Let's go to here. Okay, so formulas in Excel can be used to solve many problems. You can use to get the sum, the counts, if this, if that, just to get solve many problems in Excel. All right, let me name this. Let's start with sum. So okay, so here let's copy this. Let's copy this whole thing, right? And let's copy, then come here, then let's paste it here. I want to just say for sum alone. Okay, thank you. So sum, this is some part of this note. Okay, so now for us to write formulas in Excel, first and foremost, let's look at what are we going to sum up. This is a MTN data set, right? We have the customer customer ID, we have the full name, we have date of purchase, age, date, MTN device, the gender, the satisfactory rates, we have the customer review, customer tenure in months, we have the subscription plan, we have the unit price, we have the number of time purchased, we have the total revenue, we have dates usage, we have customer churn status, and we have reasons for churn. All right, reason for canceling that subscription. That is what we mean. So now firstly, you're looking at the sum. That's the first formula in Excel we want to work on. So sum, let's say this whole MTN, let's say the MTN company is asking you to get the sum of the total revenue of all these customers. Now mind you, this whole data should be there are 975 rows on this data. So now they're asking you to find the total sum of revenue. Now you don't have to start using your calculator one by one to start calculating this plus this plus this. Firstly, you have to go to where you see the total revenue. All right, so this is where the total revenue is. This is the tab for total revenue. Now we have a lot of revenues for different purchases. All right, so what you're going to do is go to that formula place that you made, this place. Now let's say this is let's name it as sum of revenue, right? So okay, firstly you do equal to, right? So you go to that sum of revenue place. Where's your this total revenue? Now this is n, this is the n bar. All right, total revenue. Now here you do it as equals to sum. That's how you write formulas. Sum of, you have to, okay, let's know, sorry, yes, sum, open your brackets, sum. Now they mean your numbers. Write your numbers you want to sum. Now that is n. You do from n, let's say sorry, n2. Now if you notice, this is n2 here. Now here is highlighted. Now remember we had 957 data sets. Let's say n2 to use your column. Can you see, to n 957, because that's the total data set we have. Now let's go cross check again. Let's go cross check. Okay, no, We have 975, not 957. So 975, you have to correct that to 975. 975. So now we have to close your brackets. You can close it, you can close it, depend on you. All right, so now we have a total of this is our total sum of revenue. Now mind you, you can change these whole things to currency value. This is still in general. This is it here. This is still in general. You can change it to something else. You can change it to a currency value, to dollar sign, naira sign, Canadian sign, depending on what you want. So that's all for that. And we also have sum if. All right, we have sum if. So sum if should be, let's say, okay, now let's say sum if of revenue. We have to go to a new table and say sum if, okay, of revenue. All right, so they're always together, sorry. Yes, so here now this is a formula. I told you this is formula by, right? So this is the formula for this sum of revenue. Now this sum if of revenue should now be equal to, sorry, equal to, right, sum if. Now we have the value here, sum if. There is sum if, and there is sum ifs. All right, so this is your sum if. Click it. All right, so now you need your range, your criteria, and the sum range. This just means, okay, let's say we want to get total revenue of these people, but we are getting total revenue, we are calculating the revenue of people that got things greater than, let's say this is 100,000 naira, let's say $100,000. We want to calculate the people that got products greater than 100,000. This is this first one here is 665,000. We're not sure if it's naira, if it's in dollars, if it's in Canadian dollars. We don't know for sure, right? But now let's say sum if. All right, sum if n2, right, to, sorry, to n975. That's what we did last time, to n975. all right, so why are you summing if? Let's say comma, this is your range, this is the range you gave it. Mind now, look at, if the cursor is here, the range is very bold. Now put it here. Now the criteria, what are you, okay, if you sum it based on what, right? Based on when the total revenue is greater, you can put your this thing here, quotation mark, greater than 100,000. Let's count it. Okay, 1 2 3, yes, 100,000. Now this automatically tells Excel that we are trying to sum, you're trying to get the sum of the revenue of those people that got products, or that got that subscribed MTN products greater than 100,000 naira. So now I have to close it, right, and see what it gives us. Now look at, you see that the value is not the same with this. This one is just the total sum of all the revenue, while this is the sum of the revenue when the revenue is greater than 100,000 naira or dollars. You get. Now we also have sum ifs. You know, like this. Now there is sum if, and there is sum ifs. Sum ifs of revenue. Let's go for revenue. Revenue. So we have equal to sum. All right, sum ifs. Yeah, sum ifs. Now it's sum ifs. Now this sum ifs will tell you whether we should add the total revenue based on another table. All right, let's say you want to get the total revenue of people whose churn rates are still yes. All right, whose churn rates are still yes, because churn rates means, churn status means if they have cancel their subscription, or if it's yes, that means their subscription is still on, but if it's no, that means their subscription is cancelled. So you are going to get the total revenue of people that their subscription is still on. You get. So now you have to, that's why you use sum ifs if you want to add another table to the whole discussion. Now sum ifs, let's go. Sum ifs of, what are you trying to sum? You're trying to sum n2 to n975 All right, that's the last one, N975. Now based on what? Another table, right? Now based on this P status here, now based on P2, you get P2 to P975. All right, now that is your first, this is your range. Your criteria range should be this. Now your criteria range 2, this one means you have to tell it what should be add the total revenue based off. All right, so we can now add, let's say if the what, let's say if is yes, from this one we are adding this based on if is yes. All right, comma, hope you're getting this part, comma. Now what else again? You can still add it based on that table. If, let's say if their unit price is still less than 100 or 200, you get, or let's say okay, based on number of time purchased. Now you put that number of time purchased, M2, comma, let's say M2 to M975. Now you see what I'm doing here. Yeah, 975, comma. Now what are you going to add? Let's say if the number of purchases is more than 10, you get more than 10. Let's say greater than 10, greater than 10. So let me explain this quickly if I put my brackets. Now this one just tells us that we are trying to add N2, that's the total revenue part, when this P place, when the churn status is yes, and when the number of purchase is 10. So just like if they ask you, maybe in the company or the company you're working for, and they're like, okay, I want to know the total revenue of people who are still with us, and if they have purchased more than 10 times. This is the formula you use. So now let's close the brackets and let's see what it gives us. You see, so it has given us a value. Now mind you, these values are still general values, they're not in currency yet. If they're in currency, you see comma, you see, okay, let's change to currency. Let's change the dollar sign, go to the general place, currency. Now you can see how detailed it is now, how very detailed it is. Currency, you see how very detailed it is. All right, so you can see this is what I mean when it is in currency sign. So this is for sum. I think I'll do a part 2 video of this. Okay, I don't want to waste too much of time on one video. I've talked about sum. So now let's go to another type of formula. We have max and min. And let's create a new sheet. Max and min. All right, so let's call it. Now we have to go copy this main one and come back here. Come back here and Control V. All right, so now let's go to a new page over here. So let's find the max. For the max, it means we are trying to get the highest value, or the highest value maybe of a particular row or a particular column. All right, so if you are trying to get the highest revenue of somebody, let's say who had the highest revenue, who gave us the highest money in this place, or the total subscription, who did the highest, who subscribed the highest, or let's say number of purchase, let's know the candidate or the customer that have the highest number of purchase. Okay, let's use that fact. Now I want to know, let's say the company wants to give a gift to the best purchaser, if that is right, to the best purchaser. Now let's say equals to max. You're going to know the person that did it or that got the highest purchase. All right, let's say okay, this is the number of purchase. I want to know the highest purchase, or let's know if the company should perform more in their next quarter, if they should do more, if they should add more energy into their maybe advertisement, so that will have more people and will have higher number of purchase. All right, because the number of purchase the highest number of purchase is little, if it's less, the company know that they have something to do, they have work to do. But if it's okay, they still have more work to do, but let them just know. All right, let's say max equals to max. Remember, if you're writing your formula, you should always start with an equals to max. Then you open your bracket and you say m, from m to, remember it's 975, that is total number of columns here, to m 975. All right, that's max. Don't say the max. So now 20, can you see it's 20? Now it's telling you that the maximum number of purchase from everybody that's purchased, from the 975 customers that have purchased this, the highest person is 20, which is a little bit low when it's not a new company. All right, so let's leave that aside. Now for the mean, this is minimum. We want to know the minimum, like what is the least purchase anybody has made in this company. So now we're going to equal to mean, then open bracket, what's that part? Okay, m2 to m975, sorry, m2 to m975. So 1, you can see the maximum purchase is 20, while the minimum purchase is 1. You can see the difference. So this is just to tell you, okay, this is the maximum purchase and this is the minimum purchase. All right, so next we'll be taking a look at length. The length. So this length is just to check the number of characters, to confirm the number of characters that a sentence have, or a word have, or even numbers. So just like, okay, this is MTN, right? Let's say MTN is trying to look at, let's say they did a survey and they're trying to get accurate numbers. Like, some people might make mistake when they're trying to put in their numbers, and instead of putting 11 numbers, they'll put 10 numbers. So instead of them avoiding those kind of mistake and you get adding everything up into a messy data set, they will just confirm using length to know which number has lesser numbers or even more numbers, because you can just put 080, then you now add extra numbers, so making it 12. Okay, so those kind of things will make the whole data cleaning and data arrangement rough and hard, you get, at the end of the day. So for us to confirm if those things are right, although I don't have number on this data set, but I would like to be using the full name, I want to check the total number of characters in this full name here, or let's check the total number of characters in the customer ID or in the full name. So but the way to do it, okay, let's go here and okay. So for length now, we start with equals to, right? You mean writing length fully does not mean that is how the whole thing will be in the formula place. So you have len, then you get the length. See, it said it returns the number of characters in a text string. Alright, now in our last class I talked about text. So if you have not really looked at my class, you can go right now and check what texts are. Alright, I talked about it in my last class. So let's continue. Put your brackets first, your brackets. Then we are going to check. This is B. This full name belongs in the B cell. Now we are going to write. We want to know the length of B. Let's say B2. Alright. So you have seen 11, right? Or you can just do B2 to using B2 to B and 975, and we have this. So we have gotten all at once. Now we see that the length of the first word is 11, the first full name is 11, 12. Now be reminded that they added the space. The space in the middle of the words are also added as part of the text string, so be reminded of that. All right, so that's for length. Now the next I'm going to go to is concatenate. All right, concatenate is just trying to tell you that, okay, I want to combine two cells together. You got the first name and the second name or the last name separately in two different cells, maybe in the L and H cell, then you're trying to combine them to get the full name. That's when you're going to use concatenate. Or you're trying to get the age and the year at the same spot. That is when you're going to use concatenate. So let's try an example of concatenate here. We already have the full name, mind you, and also yes, we can use concatenate to form an email, or let's say the company wants to create email for all their workers, a worker email. They can use their name to create the email. So let's create an email for, okay, let's say email creation. Sorry, email creation. All right, email creation. So now the email creation, you're going to use concatenate for it. All right, concatenate, and we are going to, okay, let's start, equals to concat. Now mind you, concatenate, you don't use concatenate, use concat. It concats the list or range of text string. No, you're going to use concat. You're going to open your brackets. All right, then what are you trying to concat? Let's concat, okay, like I said, we're trying to make an email. So let's concat this B, this full name part, this whole B, right? This full name part, right? And email.com. So let's start. Sorry, this is my mistake. Just convert B2, comma. So B2 is already the name. Be reminded that B2 is the name already. Right now, if you have a, just imagine an email. It is, let's say, iona@gmail.com. The B2 already serves as the name. The first name there is Ngozi something. So she serves as, let's say, the Iona already in the name. She serves as the Iona already. Then at gmail.com. So be reminded that we are going to add as now. So we're going to use that as, put it in a quotation mark. Then we're going to add gmail.com. So now this means we are concatenating these two things together. Let's try. So we have created the email for this person. Alright, so I've created the email for this person. And if you want to go more further, you can just drag down. Alright, you can just come here, you can just drag down. So you create a lot of emails for everybody on this platform. Alright, so this is ngoziberry@gmail.com, zainab@gmail.com. This is how you make an official email for every single staff of an organization. Alright, so let's try to concat two other things together. Let's try to let's say the customer satisfaction rate and the, okay, sorry, I need to see this well. The satisfaction, let's concat this and this. Now I want to get and concat it by a comma. Now we are going to go here and let's name it concatenation. Let's name it concatenation. Sorry. Let's name it concatenation, and our either have equal to concat. Then you open your brackets, right? So the customer satisfaction rate is here. Just say H2 concat H2 comma I2. All right. No, let's convert T. This is too fair. It means that they combine this and this. Now if you look at this is just too fair. There's no any space or comma in the. So if you want to add a comma here, you come to this side, then you add this, a quotation sign, then add a comma, then block the quotation again, then add a comma. Alright, so like this way I did now. Let's now load it. Now you see we have 2 fair, 2 comma fair. Now with this you can even know what the number mean in the customer review part. Now we have 1 comma poor, we have 1 comma poor, 5 is excellent, 4 is, or let's change the comma to an hyphen so that we can be able to know, okay, this is what this means. Let's come out to an hyphen, right? Now we have seen a guess like this, so we can see that this is it. Yeah, so you can see that 2 is fair, 5 is excellent, 4 is very good, 2 is fair, 1 is poor. So that is all about concatenation. You can concat things together from 2 sides of the table or from different sides of the table. So I hope you understood everything that have been said in this tutorial, and there are many more formulas that we would continue looking at in our next class. So if you are really interested in this part, know that our first lesson was just briefing into analysis. But this is now main Excel analysis. This is where the formulas, all the things you are going to be learning in Excel, this is where it starts from. Alright, so next class we'll be looking at XLOOKUP, VLOOKUP, and different type of formulas. These are not the only formulas. Like I said in the beginning of this class, that there are thousands of Excel formulas, but in this tutorial we are going to be working on some, not every. So it now lies on you, or if you want a personal tutorial with me, you can send a DM. Alright, so in our next class we'll talk about other things, like I said. So if you have any question, you can put it in the comments. I will be there to answer questions as possible. Thank you so much for this class. See you in the next class. Bye.